In this video, I'm gonna show you all the different ways that you can experience Doom, whether it be by mods for the Doom games themselves, or whole other experiences that recreate Doom in a completely different way. And I've organized them all into different categories based on video game genres. The first genre is strategy. I found a very addictive and satisfying WoD that turns Doom into a strategy auto-battler game called the Reconquest. In this WoD, your objective is to build an army ranging from Doom and Hexen to heretic monsters to fight and win battles until you eventually reach the Black Castle and win the war. There are different damage types, spell types, skills and perks, and every monster has a preferred environment they like to fight in. There's also an arena mode that skips all the strategy and allows you to pit monsters against each other for your entertainment. Where this gameplay mod shines is the large-scale epic battles you can have. You might feel confused at first, but there's a tutorial video that's really well made, a book with information on everything in the mod, and the hub area of the mod is really simple to navigate. Mod number 2 is turn-based Mutator. This simple mod will change the fast-paced gameplay of Doom into turn-based gameplay, kinda similar to the gameplay of the classic Fallouts. The way this works, from what I understand, is that the moment an enemy spots you, you will have officially entered combat, and you and the monsters will have a limited amount of time to take action during your turn. This forces you to plan ahead and gives every encounter more importance. Just make sure you play this with fast monsters enabled. The third and last entry in the strategy category is Doom Wars, which isn't a mod but a standalone game. This is a real-time strategy experience set in the Doom universe. So if you've played Doom before, Doom Wars will look very familiar, but if you are like me and have no experience with real-time strategy gameplay, you will feel lost. Unfortunately, this project was never finished, but there's still a lot of content for you RTS and Doom fans. In between categories, I will be mentioning a fun fact about Doom. Here's the first one. A WoD known as Marine Doom was created in 1996 by the US Marine Corps to train and enhance the war instincts of soldiers, and it is available to download online for you to try. The second category is the simulator genre, starting with Doomed Love, which is a Doom dating simulator. From what I gather, the player is Doom Guy, there's an event coming up and none of the demons have a date, so you've got to pick one of them to go out with. This is creative and wholesome, but how did this even happen? Who made this game? It was released during the pandemic, and I get that people get lonely, but come on guys, demons? Really? What, you were just sitting there with your dick out and saw Revenant and thought to yourself, yeah, I would smash that? Is there really no one that would fuck you that you were just desperate enough to fuck a mancubus? Moving on, Doom Mower Lawn of the Dead is a mod that essentially simulates a lawn mowing experience in Doom. Rip and tear the grass and occasionally shred through demon trespassers with your Super Mower 9500 and take sips off your energy drink while doing it. This is actually fun and kinda relaxing to play through, and I never thought I would say those things about a lawn mowing simulator. Next is Revenant Bus. This 7-level WoD is basically a bus driving simulator, but it is also much more than that. A spawner at the back of the bus will summon Revenant every 7 seconds, and the player is expected to punch them to death every time they spawn for 24 real-time hours, because that's how long it would take you to complete all 4 trips on this bus. Because of how long it takes and how many Revenants you have to kill, the bus floor is gonna be made up of Revenant corpses. Speaking of simulators, here's a little not-so-fun fact for you. Eric Harris, one of the culprits behind the Columbine school shooting, was an avid player of Doom. According to a couple of students at the high school, Eric had told him that he's made a Doom level resembling the Columbine High School, as if simulating the experience in Doom before committing the heinous crime. The third category is the open world genre. A WoD by the name of Doom Free Roam Pack connects all the Doom 1 and 2 maps into one massive open world map. I'm having trouble finding the right words to explain what this WoD does, but imagine the intermission screen, and then instead of clicking a button and magically appearing on the next level, you would have to actually make the trip on foot to reach the next level. You could go anywhere you want, anytime, which also means that you can go back to previous levels as well. Next, ZDaemon City is a mod that puts the player in an urban environment with many locations to explore. There are cars on the streets, various NPCs, police cars hunting the player, missions to complete, and so much more. Obviously, this mod draws heavy inspiration from GTA and might be the closest thing to an open world Doom at the moment. I personally couldn't get this to work, so the footage you're seeing is in mine. And the third and last entry in this category is No Guy Sky. This is a mod that aims to recreate a No Man's Sky experience for classic Doom. In this mod, you will travel around the galaxies with a spaceship, and there's even a map of the galaxy. If I'm not mistaken, the planets are randomly generated and the chance of coming across a certain location is random as well. If you've never heard of No Man's Sky, by the way, the gameplay in a nutshell is this. You travel around the galaxy, explore interesting randomly generated locations, mine for resources, and survive. This mod basically has the same amount of features from the original game, and it only took the author 3 weeks to make, while the actual No Man's Sky took 3 years to make. Let's move on to the fourth genre, kart racing. First up is ZKART. This mod feels like it would be exactly what we would get if id Software decided to develop and release a Doom racing game. ZKART lets you choose out of 14 different Doom monsters with different statistics to race against other monsters on the track. It includes 7 racetracks based on the original Doom maps. This mod, however, is unfinished and likely an abandoned project, and the driving mechanics are actually horrendous. Another demo for a mod that will probably never get finished is Bike Time Trial. In this mod, you'll be driving a bike across a few racetracks and trying to complete the race in the shortest amount of time possible. You can't race against AI or online. This is again just a demo, but the driving actually feels a lot better than the previously mentioned ZKART. So don't get fooled by the footage you're seeing, because I just suck at driving. Don't lose hope, however, because if you still want to experience a kart racing mod for Doom, you got Sonic Roboblast 2 Kart. Calling this a mod is an understatement. It's more like an entirely new game with hundreds of levels and characters. The karting mechanics are actually good. They can rival even the greatest original karting games out there. And you can play this online with other players for free. While this is a mod for the Doom engine, I doubt anybody would be able to tell that this is Doom. There is a Doom guy character you can choose to race as though, and that might give you a hint. Do you know what makes Doom and its community really amazing? It's that you can run and play Doom on pretty much anything with a chip. An Apple Watch, a MacBook touch cover, printer, calculator, pregnancy test, or even just a potato. Well, not a single potato, but maybe 100 potatoes. That, and also there's so much free community content for this game. Let's move on to the 5th category in this video, the roguelike genre. Starting with Doom Roguelike. This is a standalone roguelike game based on Doom. It was created by the same developers behind Jupiter Hell, which is another Doom-inspired roguelike. DRL has an isometric top-down view. You move around by pointing and clicking on square units, and the combat is turn-based, but it's still fast-paced. Almost everything is randomized, so it's different each time you play, but your objective is the same, which is to defeat the final level or final boss, but that's not going to be easy because this game is quite challenging. You start by choosing your character class, then picking one of 10 traits to invest a single point into, and then you name your character, but don't get too attached because they'll probably die. Along with the next character, and the next one, and the next, and yep, that one too. Next is Doom Roguelike Arsenal. This is a glorious gameplay mod based on the previously mentioned Doom Roguelike game. DRLA adds so much replay value by adding tons of new weapons, armors, and other items that all have a random chance to spawn based on their rarities. It also integrates damage resistances for each of the damage types in Doom to all the armors, and adds mod packs to enhance your weapons' performance or turn them into other weapons of the same class. But before you can experience any of that, you will start by picking a character, and each character will have you playing the game differently. Like I said, it's a glorious gameplay mod. And finally, Reelism 2 is a gigantic mod for Doom with one goal in mind: fun. You start the game by selecting one of many arenas and then selecting what game mode you want to play. I'll explain the standard mode, but I highly recommend infinite mode if you want the closest thing to a roguelite experience. Every 60 seconds, a new round will begin and a slot machine will be rolled to randomize monsters, weapons, and mutators on that round. There are 6 rounds in total, and on the 6th round, you'll encounter a boss fight. Whether you emerge victorious or not, you'll be taken to the town, which is the hub area where you can spend your score points in the marketplace to give yourself an edge on your next run. To start a run, simply head over to this gate and tell this man to let you in.
Let me in! Let me in!
Did you know that Doom was the most installed software in 1995? Even more so than Windows 95 itself. And Doom's explosion in popularity got Bill Gates to contemplate whether he should buy id Software or not. But both parties came to an agreement to port Doom over to Windows, and Bill Gates was actually in a Doom commercial.
Yeah. Don't interrupt me.
The next category is the fighting genre. Eternal Slayer is a gameplay mod that puts the player in the shoes of the Doom Slayer from Doom Eternal in third-person view. The only way to deal damage in this mod is to get up close and personal with the Crucible. Dodge, dash, hack, slash, and smash your way through hordes of demons, and the demons' death animations have been altered to fit the form of attack. So it'll actually look like you're cutting those monsters to pieces. Next is Doom Fighters, which is another gameplay mod turning Doom into a beat-em-up in third-person view. Except, this one will have you punching and kicking the shit out of demons. And on occasion, you can get into some fisting action. And lastly in this category, we have another mod by the name of Doom Fighters, but this one is a lot more interesting. Doom Fighters is a mod that pits players online against each other in fighting matches. There are several fighting arenas, player classes, and game modes to choose from. Although this mod is probably dead, but you can still boot it up in GZDoom and fight demons. A widely known fun fact is that Doom's monster sprites were created using clay models that were video scanned and later colorized. So for the developers to add new monsters to the game, they had to sculpt the creature first, which took a lot of effort and time. In this next category, we're gonna take a look at the different graphical styles that you can experience Doom. First up is Doom Remake, which is a mod, or rather a standalone game which aims to bring classic Doom into the modern era. It changes all 2D sprites into 3D models, adds new high-resolution textures, remixes all the original soundtracks, which I think was unnecessary, and shits all over the original game's art style. I know there's a lot of effort that went into this project, but honestly, who the hell in their right mind would play this instead of just playing the original classic Doom? However, it is interesting to see how my favorite classic Doom monsters and weapons would look in 3D. Next up, by combining a few mods, we can overhaul Doom's visuals to resemble Voxel Chibi graphics. The result is a completely different looking game. Overall, this gives the game a retro look reminiscent of RPGs in the 90s, and it's hard to take any of the demons seriously with those graphics. I've been trying to get my 9-year-old nephew to play Doom, but he says that Doom is too boring for him, so maybe now with this combo of mods, I could convince him that this is Roblox to get him to finally play it. And finally, in this category, we have Mini Doom. This is a side-scrolling 2D pixel art platformer created using Game Maker Studio. The pixel art is gorgeous, and you got all the demon roster in this art style. Imps, Barons, Cacodemons, Hell Knights, Mancubi, the Spider, Mastermind, and even the Icon of Sin. Even though this is Doom in an entirely different genre and visual style, the developers still captured some of the fun and pacing of Doom's original levels with their excellent game design. Did you know that the Doom guy's grunt sound effect when taking damage is actually the sound of a guy taking a dump in a toilet? Coming up is the final category, and it is the filthy genre. HDOOM is a mod that turns most demons into females and grants the player some love-spitting weapons. After you overwhelm a demon with your love bullets, you can then proceed to... And also you can even... Oh, and there's also a giant purple dick replacing the chainsaw. This is hands down the hardest mod for Doom I've ever played. And honestly, I'm impressed by the attention to detail that went into making this. And finally, we have Nature's Call. This mod grants the player the privilege of being able to pee-pee and poo-poo all over Hell's demonic monsters. Hate imps, piss on an imp, and watch them vomit to death out of disgust. Despise hit scanner zombies? Take a shit, grab it and launch it at a chain gunner and watch him run around with disgust and die of shame. Annoyed by the archvile? Just whip out your cock and put his fire out with your pee. The mod author even went as far as to let you put out all kinds of fires, even the Mancubus's fireballs. I'm again impressed by how far modders are willing to go to grant us an immersive experience.